first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
That's right. This is Fox 12 Now, and we are live streaming out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. We're here every weekday. We start at 1 o'clock. We go throughout the afternoon. And if you're just joining us, thanks for doing so. You can always check us out on the Fox 12 Oregon app, both live and after the fact. And as I mentioned, or as I've said before, we cover a wide range of topics. This one is something that is an event that's been going on for 50 years, and that is the Pole Pedal Paddle competition and celebration, really, that goes on at Mount Bachelor over there in Central Oregon. And we're going to talk about that because joining us right now, we've got Marieka Greene. Thank you very much. As always appreciate, when we have somebody on here to talk about an event like this. And Marieka, would you mind starting off, maybe just telling us a little bit about yourself and the organization and a little bit of the history of this? 50 years. That's really incredible.
Thanks so much for having me on, Greg. We really appreciate it. So our organization is Mt. Bachelor Sports Education Foundation, and we have been around in some capacity for almost 100 years. Our root organization, Skyliner Ski Club, was founded in 1927, transitioned to a focus on youth ski racing development, alpine ski racing development, primarily in the late 50s, early 60s, right around the time that Mt. Bachelor was founded. So we've been at the heart of the Central Oregon ski culture and now snowboard culture. Our organization has adapted in the 80s. We started Mt. Bachelor Sports Ski Education Foundation, which then changed into Sports Education Foundation as we started to include cycling and snowboard instruction as well. We serve about 800 youth every year, and the SELCO Pole Pedal Paddle remains our primary event as a fundraising source for MBSCF. So it started with supporting Skyliners, and it still supports youth snow sports development today.
Amazing. And doing it for that many years over there, and for a pole pedal paddle, talking about that, you had 100 years for the organization, 50 years of this. And, what is it that you think has kept this thing going for so long, that really just has made it such a staple of the Northwest?
Yeah, for sure. It's a great question. It's something I've been talking a lot with people in our community, longtime participants, former multi-champions, and they all really say the same thing, and that is that there is almost no other place in the world where one can be on snow, can safely ride 20 miles on their road bike, comfortably paddle in a river and run in shorts along a trail, in Bend is one of those few places. And so it's definitely, all of those activities are enjoyed, at least one of them, by almost everybody who lives here. And so it is really truly about the Central Oregon lifestyle, and it is very unique to where we live in Central Oregon. It also is, we've grown a lot as a community, and we've also grown our population of sports enthusiasts. So, folks here are just super excited to be outdoors and do really fun, crazy things like racing in a costume, should someone so choose.
And that's totally right. Celebrating all of those. For people who don't know, can you walk through like how the race actually works? How many? You mentioned 20 miles of pedaling. How does that all happen?
Yeah. So I'll describe a typical year, because we'll talk later. This year is not quite typical course, but it starts at Mount Bachelor, and there's a short alpine leg, which then transitions to a Nordic ski leg. That's about a 5-mile Nordic ski, transitions to a bike. That's about a 20-mile down Century Drive, basically the one highway that connects Mount Bachelor to Bend. And then once you get into town, we have the Athletic Club of Bend hosts our bike to run transition. So runners will then start on a primarily along the river trail run. And they will do that kind of towards the Old Mill District for people who are familiar with Bend. And they'll be, transitioning in Farewell Bend Riverbend to a paddle. And you can see the paddlers right there paddling up and down the river through the Old Mill District under a few bridges, lots of spectators at the heat of competition. You'll see those bridges lined with spectators cheering our racers on. And then we finish in Riverbend Park with a huge finish celebration. Yeah, it's just the original Bend community event. It brings all sorts of people out, not only, competitors, but over 300 volunteers on race day it takes to make this event happen.
That was going to be my other question, like how many people are involved in this? So over 300 volunteers, and how many participants are normally in it?
Yeah, typically recently we've had about 2,000. The majority of participant on a team of, 3 to 6 racers. So that ends up being about 625 boats that we have that we're managing in the parks, because that's how many starts we have.
That's a lot. But I mean, what a sight, and just how cool that is, bringing everybody together like that. I want to get into a little bit more of that side of things, but we did mention that this year in particular, there's some challenges, and this is something that's happening all up and down the West Coast, but definitely here in the Northwest, and it's that lack of snow.
For sure.
I mean, we've seen it with Mount Hood, with the resorts all closing down or scheduled to close down very shortly. Mount Bachelor, we know that's going to be closing down as well. They're not closing down permanently, but shutting down for the season because of a lack of snow. And so for an event like this, how do you overcome some of those challenges for something like that?
It's a good question. It's been a wild snow season for Mount Bachelor Sports Education Foundation, as well as all of the like organizations to ours. We host 8 alpine races. We were supposed to host 8 alpine races this year at Mount Bachelor. We only pulled off 2 out of those 8. So it's happening all across the West, and it's definitely impacted the snow sports industry and everyone who relies on it. So we saw this coming. We thought this could be the case. We were really hoping we would get the end of season snowstorms that we typically get. We are seeing some, but Bachelor announced their plan to close April 19th, and we are so fortunate as an organization to have their incredible support with everything that we do here at MBSCF, and Pole Pedal Paddle is certainly one of those things. So I've been working closely with their team, both on their closing plans and how that impacts Pole Pedal Paddle. We've been meeting every couple weeks for updates on snow depths and possible course changes. And once we came to terms with the fact that we would not be able to hold our on snow courses, either one of them. I will say that the last year we had snow levels impact snow leg was in 2015, and we weren't able to hold the Nordic leg. This will be the first time in 50 years that we haven't been able to hold either one. Hopefully the next time will also be in 50 years. We'll see. But so we're pivoting to runs on the mountain. We want to make sure we still have 6 courses for all of our teams that have registered with 6 people. And we still want this event to be a true Mount Bachelor to Bend event. And so it will be.
It will be, just adjusting for, this hopefully once in 50 years for the situation. Well, I mean, I think that's just amazing, though, that it's still there. And I think getting back to what I was talking about, too, is that, with this many people coming back year after year, there's got to be just a real sense of community and pride for not only the Bend area, but I would imagine this brings in a lot of people from outside the area, too.
Yeah, we get about 30% of our participants come from outside of Central Oregon, many from Portland, Seattle, Idaho, Northern California. Those are the places, the primary places we see that are outside of Central Oregon that are represented. But this really is an event with returning racers year after year after year. I spoke to somebody who now lives in Bend, who started racing Pole Pedal Paddle out of Seattle, when he was a high school senior in '88, traveled down with his friends from Seattle in '88, and he and his friends have done it over 30 times. They just keep coming back for more. So even folks that aren't local keep coming back for more. And most people who are involved with our event have been aware of what this winter has brought. Many of them are snow sport participants. And so it's for most of our participants, it hasn't come as a huge surprise. They've just been kind of waiting to hear, well, what are we going to be able to do? What is it going to be? For the most part, our community has been extremely supportive and, keeping positive about these changes for this year, and just still know it's going to be a super fun day, full of adventure, full of joy, and a true celebration of Central Oregon in May, even if it doesn't include enough snow to ski on or snowboard on this year.
The celebration still goes on. Well, Marieka, thank you very much, for joining us to talk about this. And for people who want to find out more information about the event and about everything going on around it, what's the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, you can visit our website at pppbend.com.
There we go. Nice and easy. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations on everything that you're doing, and fighting through whatever it is with the snow. It's still going to be an amazing event, and still putting this on and bringing all these people together is just awesome. So thanks for joining us here.
Thanks so much, Greg. Yeah. Great. Thanks.
For everybody watching, thank you for being here. This is Fox 12 Now. As I mentioned, we cover a wide range of topics, so thanks for doing so. Don't forget to download that Fox 12 Oregon app coming up. We're still going to be talking about the Trailblazers and the game that's going to be going on. We're going to be covering a lot, but up next we have another event, something that takes place in the summer, Pickathon. Not 50 years, but 26 years. And so we've got the founder of Pickathon who's going to join us. So we're talking about some pretty cool stuff here. So thanks for joining us. As I mentioned, we'll be right back after this break with more Fox 12 Now.